Hello and welcome to Top Deck. It is so good to be back. Classes are going well, so I'm hoping to restart the weekly upload starting with this week. I hope you all had a great December and a wonderful new year. Today we are going to be talking about a format that I generally don't discuss on this channel, and that is Commander. I will be going over my deck list for Atarka World Render. This is one of my favorite Commander decks. If I am ever somehow invited on one of the bigger channels like Command Zone to play Commander, this is the deck I am bringing. I originally was going to do a deep dive on every card, but then I realized I didn't have to. You're all competent adults. You can figure out the simple plan of throwing dragons at people. And also, you don't want to watch an hour-long video for a Commander deck. If you notice some of the cards look like proxies, that's because they are. I've had this deck proxied for about 3 years, but now I finally have the means to complete it. So the missing cards are currently traversing the country in the United States mail system. So with that, let's get into it. Let's start things off with Atarka World Render. This is the commander. It is a 7-mana 6/4. It is a legendary dragon. It has flying and trample, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. So our game plan is very simple. It is half ramp, half flappy lizard. Throw flappy lizards at opponents. That's not too complicated whatsoever. So we're going to start things off with just a look at the mana base. We've got ourselves 7 forests and 10 mountains, and then non-basic lands, we've got ourselves a Gruul Guildgate, Khazandu Refuge, Karplusan Forest, Copperline Gorge, Cinder Glade, Game Trail, Firelit Thicket, Stomping Ground, Gruul Turf, Command Tower, Reliquary Tower, Boseiju Who Endures for, artifact and non-basic land removal. We've got Path of Ancestry. We've got ourselves a Haven of the Spirit Dragon, and finally we have a Cavern of Souls to round out our mana base, or our lands rather. Next up, we are going to be discussing our ramp pieces, our non-land mana sources. And so first up, we've got our mana dorks in the form of Birds of Paradise, the original BOP. We've got ourselves Llanowar Elves, we've got ourselves an Elvish Mystic, and we have ourselves Gwenna Eyes of Gaia. This one can go pretty nuts in this deck. Next, we've got our cost reducers in the form of Goblin Anarchomancer, Dragonlord Servant, and Dragonspeaker Shaman. Then after that, we have our non-artifact ramp pieces, and those come in the form of Exploration, Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Sarkhan Fireblood, and Frontier Siege. I know how to read. All right, and then we've got ourselves our mana rocks. We've got a good handful of mana rocks, starting things off with the ever classic Soul Ring. We've got ourselves an Arcane Signet. We've got ourselves a Gruul Signet, Commander Sphere, Mindstone, Dragon's Hoard. This one works really well with all of our dragons. And finally, we've got Thran Dynamo. So you might think, hey, that's all of the mana creation in this deck. Nope, you'd be wrong, because some of our dragons even make mana. And those things are going to start things off with Goldspan Dragon. And then we're going to continue with Savage Ventmaw, Clouth Unrivaled Ancient, and finishing it with Old Gnawbone. Now, next up, we're going to be discussing removal. This deck does run a bit of removal, as most decks should, because that's how you win games of Magic. It's getting rid of your opponent's problematic permanents. Bit of a note before we go into this. Most of the single target creature removal lies in like our damage throwing dragons that we'll see later on, so we're not going to see too much here. But plenty of our artifact and enchantment removal is here, and it comes in the form of Vandal Blast, Nature's Claim, Return to Nature, Krosan Grip, Reclamation Sage, Chaos Warp, Beast Within, and then we've also got Steel Hellkite, Dragon's Fire, the Invasion of Tarkir, which flips over into a dragon, which I'll show you real quick. And it flips over into the Defiant Thundermaw, which has its own bit of removal attached to it. And to finish off our removal suite, we've got our sweepers in the form of Earthquake, Magmaquake, Blasphemous Act, and Balefire Dragon. So that's it for our removal suite. but you might notice that your opponents are going to be annoying and try to get rid of your stuff too. Don't worry, we have a few pieces of protection. It would be ridiculous to spend 7 mana on a Rolls Royce and not buy an insurance policy. So we're going to start those off with Lightning Greaves. We've also got ourselves Tyvar Stand, Heroic Intervention, and Bolt Bend. Next up, we have our sources of card advantage, because card advantage is how you win games. I would know. I'm an Arclight Phoenix player in Pioneer. So our card draw consists of Garruk's Uprising, Return of the Wild Speaker, specifically this first mode. We've got ourselves a Hunter's Insight, Rishkar's Expertise, Dragonborn Champion. Boy, this card can go nuts. And finally, Bonehoard Dracosaur. Next, if we can't draw the card that we need, we can just tutor it up. We have a pair of tutors in the form of Worldly Tutor and in the Invasion of Ikoria. The Invasion of Ikoria has a fun little backside if you remove all 6 of its defense counters. You can get the backside, Zolortha, Apex of Ikoria, and it has each non-human creature you control, you can have it deal damage as though it weren't blocked. So it's just a great way to say, screw all your blockers, you're dead anyway. Next on the hit parade, we have our cards that create a bunch of tokens, starting off with Dragonmaster Outcast. We've got Sarkhan the Masterless, specifically this -3 part down here. We've got ourselves Lathlis Dragon Queen and the Utvara Hellkite. Next up, we have cards that multiply damage, because big dragons that hit for a lot are good. Dragons that hit for even more are even better. And we've got 2 damage multipliers in the deck. One of them is the Dragon, Twin Flame Tyrant, and the other is City on Fire. So what damage are we actually going to be multiplying? Well, glad you asked, hypothetical person, because here are our dragons that just fling damage every which direction. We've got ourselves the Inferno of the Star Mounts. We've got ourselves a Thunderbreak Regent, a Wrathful Red Dragon, a Scourge of Valkus, a Terror of the Peaks, and Drakuseth, Maw of Flames. And finally, just a bunch of cards that really didn't fit into any of the other categories, or at least not when I looked at them. So here's just our miscellaneous cards. We've got ourselves Minion of the Mighty. We've got ourselves a Dragon Tempest, Hellkite Courser, Hellkite Charger. This has the opportunity to go infinite, and so you can have infinite combats. I'll let you figure that out. And random other win condition that probably won't be relevant, Hellkite Tyrant. Alright, so that's about it for the deck. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you really liked it. Sorry this deck isn't exactly budget-friendly, or at least not my budget-friendly. That's why it took 3 years to build. I will include a deck list down in the description. So yeah. Just let me know what you think. I hope you're having a great start to your year. I can't wait to make more videos for y'all. But until next time, have a great day, everyone. See you around.